TikTok user Wonders of Google Maps often shares strange and unusual moments captured on Google Maps. But this time, the footage he posted felt far more disturbing. In the image, a woman can be seen walking out of a wooded area. Behind her, partially hidden among the trees, lies what appears to be a motionless body on the ground. Was it a tragic accident caused by a passing Google Maps vehicle, something far more sinister, or simply a staged prank? With no confirmed location or official explanation, whatever the true story is behind that image remains unknown. A person, intrigued by stories of a small town said to be haunted after dark, decided to stop and observe the area during the night. After parking his car, he turned on the camera flash, attempting to document whatever might be lurking. For a while, the footage seems ordinary, but then his attention is drawn to a nearby building. The structure itself looks eerie in the dim light, but what happens next is far more disturbing. A large, shadowy figure moves inside, clearly not human, its size and shape leaving an unsettling impression. Startled, the person recording quickly retreated to his car. He later posted the footage online asking others for their opinion. A person set up a wildlife camera deep in the woods, hoping to capture deer and other animals as they passed by. For days, the footage showed nothing unusual. But one day, while reviewing the recordings, this image stood out. Perched in a tree was a dark, humanoid figure with glowing eyes. It appeared to be staring directly at the camera. The owner claimed no one lives nearby, and the camera was placed on private land, far from trails or roads. So what did the camera capture out there in the forest that night? A man was hiking near the Michigan border when something in the woods made him pause. He was following a clear path, dense bushes lining either side, when he suddenly felt like he was being watched. Glancing to his right, he noticed a pale face peeking out from the foliage. It was only partially visible, hidden between leaves and branches, but the shape of it was striking, almost ape-like, yet human at the same time. He raised his camera and snapped a few photos, capturing the unsettling moment. He believed it could be a glimpse of Bigfoot, but many online agree it looks more like pareidolia. TikTok user Big Island Thieves Media was out on a casual hike when something strange started happening, prompting him to start recording. As he walked, small rocks suddenly began falling from the sky. At first it seemed mysterious, but there was a real explanation behind the event. The video was dated January 24th, 2026, the same day the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory reported that episode 41 of the ongoing Kilauea summit eruption had begun that morning. The eruption was ejecting volcanic debris high into the air. Some of that material, small rocks and fragments, eventually fell back down in surrounding areas. So what looked like rocks randomly falling from the sky was actually volcanic fallout. Why the man chose to stay outside while debris was raining down is unclear, because being outdoors during falling volcanic material is definitely not safe. An explorer ventured into a dense, supposedly haunted forest at night, recording his experience. As he scanned the surroundings with his light, his attention was drawn to something unusual. A figure appeared, long dark hair draped in a white robe, standing silently among the trees. Startled, he turned and ran, retreating as fast as he could from the spot. Was it a wandering spirit haunting the forest, or just a clever prank staged to scare unsuspecting explorers? A man set out on a solo hike, hoping to enjoy some quiet time in the forest while filming the scenery with his camera. Everything looked peaceful, until his camera picked up something strange ahead on the trail. Between the trees stood a dark figure, far larger than a normal person. It had extremely wide shoulders and appeared to be moving on two legs. But beyond that, the footage was too blurry to make out any clear details. Some people believe it could have been a person. Others argue it looked too long, too unusual for that explanation. The man never got closer, and the video ends without revealing what the figure really was. A person was hiking during a heavy rainstorm, thunder rolling in the distance, lightning tearing across the sky. And then they captured this. Within the storm clouds, a shape appeared, seemingly drawing the lightning toward it. It looked like something was suspended in the sky. Too defined to be random cloud cover, too unclear to fully identify. What do you think was concealed in those clouds that day? A man named Jason Howery was exploring a river in northwest Missouri when he noticed something unusual sticking out from the water. At first, it looked like a large piece of driftwood, but as he moved closer, he realized it was something far more extraordinary.
Oh, it's so fucking heavy!
Buried in the riverbed was a massive leg bone. Jason managed to haul the enormous fossil to shore. Its sheer size and weight made one thing clear. It belonged to an animal far larger than anything living in the region today. What he had discovered was the leg bone of a Colombian mammoth, a massive prehistoric relative of the more widely known woolly mammoth. These giants once roamed parts of North America, including Missouri, more than 10,000 years ago, during the last ice age. Reddit user Golatu's motion sensor camera captured a chilling video. It was nighttime, and after receiving a notification, she grabbed a flashlight to investigate. As she moved carefully around the bushes, she noticed a pair of glowing eyes staring straight at her. Judging by the height and posture, it didn't resemble any animal known in her area. It felt humanoid. She remained frozen, realizing that approaching without protection could have been extremely dangerous. Even though it could have been anything, it didn't feel like just anything. TikTok user Cody Zemeka was outside one night on a quiet farm when he noticed strange flashes of light, but he couldn't see any source they could be coming from. The lights appeared in sharp beams, moving in ways that didn't feel natural. He tried to stay calm while recording, trying to figure out what he was seeing. Some beams looked like spotlights swooping across the clouds, while others seemed to appear from nowhere. In the end, he guessed it was probably a strong light source nearby reflecting off the clouds. But that still felt odd for such a quiet area. A person was walking through a dense forest in Indonesia when their camera caught something unusual. A red, human-like figure was standing completely still among the trees. Could have been a very creepy-looking person, but since it didn't move at all, maybe it was some kind of prop or an art installation. The video came without any explanation, so no one really knows what it was. A person was hiking alone one night when they saw something strange. They quickly took out their phone and captured a light floating between the branches of a tree, constantly shifting colors in a way that seemed almost deliberate. Some people dismissed this sighting as pranks or camera tricks, but no one really knows. Now, if you're enjoying my videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps me creating new stories every week, and it means the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. A group of people were deep in the woods, casually recording videos and talking about wildlife, when suddenly a strange and unsettling sound erupted from the trees behind him.
I don't understand why. I don't think anybody What was that?
Hey guys.
Startled, they quickly turned their cameras toward the direction of the sound, unsure of what they were about to see. Moments later, they heard this.
No, like, we last heard, like, something fighting in the bushes over there.
I heard something.
What is it?
Oh my god. What's that?
Then finally, they caught a brief glimpse of something moving between the trees.
God. What the hell is that?
Oh, what the hell? Oh, what the hell is that? What is that?
What is that?
Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god.
What is that?
Guys, that's a
What the view
Bigfoot.
is Bigfoot?
It's furry, it's furry.
Yo, it's got fur on it.
Realizing the danger, the group decided it was smarter to back away rather than follow it. So what was out there with them in the forest that day? Could it really have been Bigfoot? A man shared a chilling video he captured late at night near his home, showing what he believed was a stranded woman walking slowly toward the woods behind his property. At first, she seemed like someone lost or in need of help. Instead of calling out from a distance, he decided to follow her, keeping her in frame as he moved through the brush. Then, in a brief moment, she turned, and according to the man, her face wasn't there at all. No eyes, no mouth, just a smooth, blank surface. What happened next is unknown. If the footage is real, why would anyone chase a stranger alone at night, especially into a dense forest? A Reddit user was on a simple day out at the beach near Warden Point. They were exploring old World War II bunkers and hunting for fossils when something unexpected caught their attention among the large rocks that break up the waves at the shoreline. Hidden near an opening in the stones was a cluster of sticks and rope, and beneath that, a broken stone head that looked oddly out of place. They spent hours trying to extract the stone head from the rocks, unable to leave it behind, and eventually brought it home. At first, it seemed like an interesting, odd find, perhaps a piece of a garden ornament washed up after a storm. But soon, after returning home, strange things began to happen that the poster couldn't explain. Objects started moving on their own. Odd sounds were heard around the house, and an uneasy feeling followed them wherever they went. So let this be a lesson. Never take anything like that home. Some things are better left alone. A man visited an old mining site late at night and stumbled upon something truly unsettling. At first he thought shadows were playing tricks on him. But when he turned on his flashlight and began recording, it became clear that something far stranger was happening. Ghostly figures appeared scattered across the site, resembling miners at work, frozen in time, yet moving with an eerie purpose. The man said he could even hear faint sounds of tools echoing in the darkness, as if the spirits were forever bound to their labor. Many believed that some souls never leave this world, trapped in an endless loop, repeating the tasks they once performed in life. Maybe that's exactly what was happening here. A man's door camera captured a truly terrifying moment. In the clip, a woman can be seen walking her dog. She appears relaxed, completely unaware that just a few feet behind her, a coyote is following closely. When the woman finally notices the coyote's presence, she quickly picks up her dog and begins looking for somewhere safe to go. Seeing the danger unfold, the homeowner steps outside and offers her shelter inside his house until the animal leaves. Thankfully, the woman stayed calm and handled the situation carefully. But the encounter could have ended very differently. A woman was driving through Alberta, Canada, when she noticed something unusual in the distance and quickly pulled out her phone to record. The video, later shared on TikTok by user Nevzi, shows a large group of people dressed entirely in white walking in a perfectly straight line across an empty field. Their movements appear slow and coordinated, almost ritualistic. Because of the all-white clothing and the formation, many viewers began comparing the scene to well-known cult groups. The original uploader later posted an update claiming the group was actually a Ukrainian choir filming a video. However, many viewers remained skeptical. Whether it truly was a choir rehearsal or something else entirely, the unusual scene continues to leave people uneasy. A man hiking near Nazca, Peru, a region already famous for its ancient geoglyphs and archaeological mysteries, claimed he stumbled upon something strange. Lying in the desert was a tiny preserved head, about the size of a potato. The skin appeared grayish-brown, dried and leathery, as if naturally mummified by the desert climate. The eye sockets were shallow, small, circular openings. It didn't look quite human. The head was reportedly taken for X-rays. Inside, imaging showed what appeared to be sinus cavities. That detail sparked intense debate, because sinuses are structures found in real biological skulls. Some people claimed this proved it had once been a living being. Others were skeptical. Peruvian officials and forensic experts have repeatedly stated that similar mysterious heads and small bodies found in the Nazca region were likely altered human or animal remains, sometimes assembled or modified to appear non-human. Nazca has long been a hotspot for sensational discoveries, but it's also a place where hoaxes have surfaced before. So was this tiny head an undiscovered archaeological artifact, or a carefully constructed fake. Without verified scientific publication and official confirmation, the mystery remains open. On February 11, 2024, an ex-user shared a video showing what Mexican explorers claimed was a witch deep in the heart of the forest. The footage shows a woman standing high among the trees, her long hair flowing freely and her face unnaturally pale, eerily matching classic descriptions of a witch. But what made the clip even more unsettling was her voice. It sounded distant, unnatural, almost as if it didn't belong there. Maybe it was just a very confused person, or someone possessed, or maybe it was all just a prank. In Northern California, people were casually skiing on a snowy day when a sudden avalanche near Castle Peak put them in immediate danger. Eyewitnesses reported seeing people buried in the snow, with 3 others desperately trying to dig them out.
Notable for an avalanche in the area of Castle Peak.
Search and rescue teams rushed to the scene, battling harsh winter conditions and limited visibility to reach the victims. After tense moments, the rescue teams managed to locate and free the stranded skiers, ensuring their safety. Someone was on a hike in a quiet, unknown area when they noticed something strange happening in the sky and started recording.
Dalton, are you seeing this?
At first, they thought fighter jets were chasing a UFO. But once the video was shared online, people argued that the jets weren't chasing it. It appeared they were escorting it instead, keeping pace alongside it in perfect formation. This led many to speculate whether the craft was man-made or not. No official explanation ever surfaced. The whole clip feels a little too mysterious. Reddit user Stats Lamau shared a creepy photo reportedly taken inside the old Indiana State Sanatorium, a sprawling abandoned tuberculosis hospital with a long history of eerie reports. The image shows what appears to be a tall, shadowy figure lurking in the shadows, and the person who posted it says they only noticed the figure after reviewing the photos later. Commenters said they'd heard stories of a very tall man-like presence seen lurking around the buildings, sometimes even following groups from room to room. Others questioned whether the figure could simply be another explorer or trespasser, partially hidden in the shadows. But the poster explained that no one else was supposed to be there. Whether it's a genuine paranormal encounter or a trick of light and perspective, the cropped photograph and the location's grim history have made this one of the more talked about sightings from the infamous Indiana State Sanatorium. A man was outside when he filmed what looked like a classic flying saucer, hovering silently with no wings, no engines, nothing familiar at all. He recorded it steadily as it glided across the sky, moving with a precision that seemed impossible. Skeptics online suggested drones, camera tricks, or even weather balloons, but none of these explanations fit perfectly. Do you believe some of these UFO videos could actually be real? There must be some truth to it, right? A couple were hiking near Area 51 when they noticed something unusual in the sky. Strange lights hovered above the desert. No sound, no visible aircraft, just silent lights hanging over one of the most secretive locations in the world. Unfortunately, whatever was out there that day never appeared again. So were they witnessing military testing, drones, or something out of this world? 4 hikers were making their way up Golden Ears in British Columbia and reached the 5,630-foot summit before conditions suddenly turned against them. A powerful winter storm blew in on their descent, creating whiteout conditions that made it impossible to continue safely. They activated Apple SOS to request help and made their way into a BC Parks emergency shelter on Panorama Ridge, where there are supplies like blankets, heat vests, and food caches. Rescuers with Ridge Meadows Search and Rescue immediately began planning a response, but severe weather and high avalanche risk kept helicopters grounded and kept ground teams from reaching them for the first 2 days. Blizzard conditions, snow, and strong winds made travel too dangerous. The hikers were tired and hungry, but had brought gear and enough supplies to make it through the emergency shelter stay while they waited out the storm. Finally, after 3 nights stranded, a break in the weather on Tuesday allowed rescuers to reach them by helicopter. The group was evacuated in stable condition and reunited with family. A Reddit user was escorting a church group to a weekend camp in the Poconos, Pennsylvania. It was a kind of trip filled with activities: climbing, hiking, boating, and visits to a small nature center and museum on the property. Inside the nature center were displays of antlers, animal bones, turtle shells, arrowheads, and old pottery. Educational pieces, harmless. At least that's what he thought. As he handled some of the items, something caught his attention. One bone didn't look right, and he would know. He was an environmental scientist. He had studied bones. This one wasn't from any woodland animal. It was a human mandible, a lower jawbone. He immediately alerted the camp director. Soon after, state police launched an investigation. The bone was examined, but no missing persons reports matched it. No recent disappearances, nothing to suggest a modern crime. The camp itself had history. Before it became a retreat, the land had been used for timber operations and ice harvesting until the 1920s. Workers once lived and labored there in harsh conditions. So perhaps the jawbone belonged to someone who died long ago. To this day, no definitive identity has ever been attached to that bone. On February 2nd, a person in Russia stepped outside at night and noticed something unusual near the moon. In the footage, multiple objects shaped like the moon can be seen moving together across the sky. One shines noticeably brighter than the others, clearly standing out, while the remaining lights follow closely behind it. The formation appears coordinated, almost deliberate. Some believe the objects could have been unidentified aerial phenomena, possibly even extraterrestrial craft observing the Earth or the moon from the distance. Others argue there are far more practical explanations. They suggest the lights could have been satellites reflecting sunlight at the right angle, a phenomenon commonly seen with satellite constellations. Or perhaps it was an optical effect, caused by atmospheric distortion, ice crystals, or even the camera lens itself. So what do you think? For more scary trail encounters, watch this next video.